Welcome back, survivors. This is Julie 1961, and we're back on the Ark, coming at you from Old Gamers Never Die. Once again, we're here on the island to do a tutorial on kind of basic setup. We talked last time about basic tools, our clothes, put a box up, a fire, start cooking some things, how to forage for food. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at inventory management, because we're starting to build an inventory, and also how to tame things. And there's several ways to do that. We're going to talk about all that in this video. Looking forward to a great time. Hope you are too. Let's roll the intro. We are back, and we are at our little base here. We've got our box, our fire. We left last time we were cooking some meat, so let's see what we got in here. Remember, F gets into your inventory to give you an idea of what you got. Okay, so we have 20 meat that are nice steaks, all cooked up, ready to go. We got some rotten meat, which we really don't need right now, but we'll get it out of the way. And we got some charcoal, which we talked about a little bit last time. You'll need later, but you really don't need right now. Alright, you click put the fire out so we don't just keep burning our wood for no reason at all. Let's go back over here to our box and get this stuff put away. Now, I'll just talk a little bit about inventory management because, and we'll talk more as we go, but what is important about inventory management is when you're trying to get into boxes and you're trying to move your stuff around, you want to be able to do that as quickly and as efficiently as you possibly can, because, you know, things may be chasing you, things may be after you. You may be in the middle of a peaceful, calm afternoon and something starts attacking you while you're trying to move things around your inventory. So it's important to understand how to do this and how to do it relatively quickly, especially if you're out in the open. So we're going to hit F to see what's in our box here. And we've got some wood, we've got some hide, we've got a little bit of rocks. And we have these items over here. Now, last time when we were on here, I was dragging things over from one side to the other, which you can do, and it's, you know, it gets stuff there, but it's kind of cumbersome. It's slow, and you want to be able to do things a whole lot faster than that. So rather than dragging something back and forth, another option you can use is the T button, as in Tom. So if you hover over your item and hit T, it's going to transfer that whole stack of whatever that item is over into your inventory, into the next container that you're looking at. So you have your inventory here, that's what we're carrying. Then you have the inventory over here, which is the box inventory. And just by hitting T one time, it transfers that over. Now, if you want to move it back, you can also hit T again and it'll move it back. Okay? Another thing that you can do is if you right click on that item, it's going to give you a couple of options here. You can transfer the item, T, just like we did just now. You can also split the stack up. So sometimes maybe you have too much of something and you want to put some of it away and you want to keep some of it on you. You can split your stack out. You can just kick one out. You can split it in half. You can split it all, which means everything just goes to one. So I'd have 34 pieces of charcoal in my inventory if I did that. Or you can specify an amount. I want to split out 10 of these and put the rest away. So those are different ways that you can split your stack. Also, when you're moving things back and forth, you can do a little bit different stuff. So if you double click over here in your inventory and you've got this other one open, you double click here, it pops over there and gives you one over there. Just one. That's all you're moving. Just one time. Double click again, it'll move another one. If you hold down the shift key and double click, it'll move 5. So if you got 5 of them that you want to move over, and it works either way. You want to do it over here, you double click, hold the shift key down, and there it goes back over into this inventory. So that will move 5 at a time. If you want to move half of what you've got, all right, say I want to put half of what I got, instead of splitting it out, another way I can do it is I can hold down shift and hit that T button, and boom, half of my stack goes over here. I don't have to split it out. It just pops over into the other container that I'm trying to dump it into. So those are ways you can move single pieces of the things that you're carrying in your inventory over from one place to another. Another way to do it is these two transfer arrows right here. Now you have to be careful about this because transferring stuff is going to transfer everything you've got in your inventory into the container. And there's another transfer from the container back into you. And sometimes that's what you want to do. You want to hurry up and get it. Like if you get killed and you want to go, you find your body, it's going to have all your stuff on it. You want to hurry up and grab it and get it back into your inventory because maybe there's something that killed you last time is still hanging around there and you got to get out of there. So you quickly pop this open, hit this double arrow, transfers everything you've got over into your inventory just like that. Now, like I said, you got to be careful with that because if you go into a storage container that's got a lot of inventory and you hit that button, then what's going to happen is you're going to get overburdened. You're going to be over encumbered, and then you're not going to be able to move. So I click off this and I try to go somewhere and I can't move. I can hit the W key all I want, not going anywhere because I'm too overweight. And you can see down the bottom right, there's a little barbell thing that says, hey, you got too much weight on. My whole section over on the far right is blue, and I have this little symbol at the bottom right that says you got too much weight on you. So if I go back into my container here, hit F, I can move my stuff back over there, and I can move everything over in one swipe. If I've got enough slots. Now, different containers have a different amount of items you can put in it as far as what they'll hold. So if I hit this arrow button here, it's going to move everything in my inventory over into that box that will fit. So it moved everything over, everything fit. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14, I have 15 slots available in a box. So these two things wouldn't go over because that would carry me over that 15 limit. The amount of slots is going to tell you how many items you can put in there. The amount of items in what we call a stack is determined by whatever that item is. So sometimes stacks are just one. And prime meat, we'll get to that in when we start taming things, and we'll talk about that. It's usually just one, a stack of one. Wood is usually a stack of 100. Hide can be, I think it's 200 now, maybe 3. But different items will have different stack rates. So you can have more than one, and you can have multiples of the same, but it's going to stack up to 100, and it's going to go over to the next slot. Okay? So we got our slots full here. We've still got some measure berries over in our inventory. And we have that raptor skin that we talked about when we first started the game out. Now, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to bring some stuff back over here. Well, let's tell you what. Let's do this. Let's keep it like it is. And we'll talk as we go through this about our first taming outing. I'll close this out. And it's raining again. I have 1 point I didn't spend last time, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'll hit I for my inventory screen, and there's my different things I can spend points on. Actually, I got 2 points. Cool. Okay, so we talked the last time around the different items that you can spend your points on. Health, of course, is your health pool. How many times you can get clobbered before you get killed. Stamina is the pool of how much stamina I have to do a thing or run away or whatever it is. And we talked about that being this item over here, the little lightning bolt, and what that'll do is as I use my stamina, that'll drop off until I don't have any left, and then I'll slow down and stop. Depending on what activity it is, I may even pass out if I keep doing it. Oxygen is really not something we need to be concerned about early game, except for the fact that unless you're going to go swimming a lot, because oxygen is how long it takes for you to suffocate. And when you go underwater, you'll see a little tank icon show up here over on the right. They'll tell you how much oxygen you have. And when that tank icon gets to 0, then you have to come up for air or you'll drown. To complicate matters, when you're swimming, no matter what you're doing, when you're swimming, you're burning stamina. If your stamina drops all the way out, it makes it really tough to swim to the surface to get to the air, even if you're not out of oxygen. So what often will happen is you won't be able to get back to shore until your oxygen runs out, and then you're going to drown. So 2 things to kind of watch when you're in the water. We're not going to be in the water that much in the early game, but that's just an idea of some things that you might want to keep an eye on. Food is how much food you have in your system, so how well fed you are. And you can see ours is dropping off a little bit. We need to eat, and we'll get some of those steaks. We'll put those back in our inventory here in a second, and we'll eat one of those, and that should get our food back up. Water is how much water you have in your system. Now, we talked yesterday when it started raining automatically fills up your water. And then if you have a water skin, you can drink from the water skin, and that would be E. Remember, E interacts. So if you have a water skin in your inventory, you can go over and click E on it, and it'll drink a gulp of water. You can put your water skin down here in this hot bar at the bottom of your screen and type that number and it'll drink water. Or you can go get in the water. As long as you're in the water, you can hear it splashing. You can usually hit E and you'll drink water there. Arc doesn't differentiate between salt water and fresh water, so luckily we don't have to worry about we can't drink salt water. Anytime you find water, you can drink it. Melee we talked about, that's where I kind of like to spend some points so that I can toughen up and be ready to punch things out or stab things or whatever I got to do to protect myself. So since we have those 2 points, I'm going to drop one in melee and I'm going to put the other in weight again so that I've got as much weight as I can possibly carry. We get this screen again that tells us what we can make, the skills we've just learned. And remember, I said we'd learn the bed, and here we go. We can make a bed now, so we can go take care of that here in a second. And close this back out. All right. We'll keep going down. Movement speed, we talked about in the last video as well. If you want to make it so you can run faster than the thing is chasing you, you can bump up your movement speed. That helps out with that. Crafting skill, you really got to bump that up a lot for it to make any real difference. And in my experience, some people swear that if bump up their crafting and they're making better items and they last longer, your items will break over time and you'll have to repair them. It also helps with your speed of crafting. So when you're crafting, we'll do that out here. You'll see that we'll slow down if we're walking while we're crafting, and that can put you at a little bit of a risk. So if your crafting speed is higher, then you'll be able to keep moving while you're making a bunch of spears or whatever it is that you're working. Fortitude at the bottom, we didn't talk much about this. This really helps you with surviving the elements. So while we're in this part of the island where it's nice and sunny and it's not too cold and it's not too hot, fortitude's not so important. When we get out into the colder regions or really hot regions, your fortitude will be something that you need to bump up. So as you start getting past just the first few levels, you may want to start adding some to your fortitude to build that up so that you can survive the elements. And we'll get different kind of clothing that we can wear that'll help with that. But for right now, we're good where we're at. And of course, the last one we talked about the last time was torpidity. That's not something you can adjust. You're 200 now. You'll be 200 as long as you're playing the game, and at least in vanilla. And that's what determines your ability to stay conscious. Once your torpidity level hits 200, you're going to pass out. Okay? All right, so let's close this out. Let's go over to our box here real quick. Hit F and grab those stakes out. Now, something else that we didn't talk about last time that I want to talk about this time just real quickly because it is important is how you consume food and water. As I said, you can leave it up here in your inventory. If you hover over it and interact, hit E, you're going to eat one of those. Okay, I just ate a steak. Or if you hover over the berries, you'll eat one of those. You can put them down in your hotbar like I have the blueberries down here. And when you're not in this screen, you're just in a regular screen, you can hit 0 and you'll eat berries. So you have meat and you have berries. Those are the two items that you can consume for food. And they'll do two different things. Now, if you eat berries, you'll watch at the bottom, you'll see the little green arrows and the little steak at the bottom. It will start filling up my food meter, but it's going to fill it up kind of slow. Let me open that part back up. So you can see my food meter is going up from 61, 62, 63. It's going to slowly raise. But if you watch, if I eat a piece of meat, it goes up a lot faster. And eating will heal you, especially if you're hungry and you don't have any, you're down on your food and you eat a steak, it's going to not only fill up your food, but it's also going to give you you'll see a little bottle of healing elixir pop up down at the bottom next to that steak, and it shows that you're getting healed by eating that stuff. So those are two things to think about as you're going through making sure you stay alive in Ark. We talked about the water, so let me see here. We'll prove this out. So I am not in the water, and if I hit E, nothing is happening. So I go out and I start hearing the splash, and I hit E, and if I didn't have a full thing of water, I'd be able to drink some. But as long as you're in the water, you can hear it splashing, then you can hit E as while you're looking down, and it will drink a gulp of water, and it'll get your water back to 100%. One gulp will get you 100%. Okay, so now we talked about taming, and I want to spend time doing this. There are a couple of ways to tame. There are what we call passive tames. So if I find a dinosaur out here that will let me passive tame them, it basically means I'm going to follow them around and give them whatever they want to eat. And to do that, I need to put that item in the last slot of my hotbar. Now, we talked a little bit about this the last time that we were on here around the vegetarian type dinosaurs of the herbivores. This is the fruit that they want. They want the measure berries. That's the thing that gets them tamed fastest. It gets the best efficiency on taming. So we're going to keep those in our hotbar in the 0 slot, okay? Because we're going to go around and we're going to look and see what we can find. Some dinosaurs cannot be tamed, but we've seen the trilobites that kind of scoot around on the ground here. You really can't tame those. You can kill them and get some resources out of them, but they're not something that you're going to be taming. Now, what you may, and we'll take a look and see if we can find one. One of the little critters that is kind of the first thing you run into to tame is a dodo. And to tame a dodo, that is what's called a knockout tame. Now, there we have one of those Dilophosauruses again. He's motoring around down here, seeing what he can get himself into. Let's see what we got. This might be a bigger one than we saw the other day. I think the one yesterday was a level 2, is why we could knock him out. This guy, I don't know. We'll see what we got. Oh, he's level 9. He's not going to go down so easy. Ah, put him eye again. All right, he's down. All right. So I am going to switch to my trusty hatchet. Remember, we said the hatchet gets more hide than meat. I really don't need a lot of meat right now. I do need hide. So thank you for contributing to the cause there, Mr. Dillo. Let's see, there's another one down there. But I'm not really looking to hunt right now. I'm really looking to tame something. Let's see what we have. Not much out here to tame today. Okay, well, there's always a way. You really want to do something, there's always a way. Okay, so we talked about passive taming. I don't see anything that can passively tame. We did see a Dilophosaur down there. Sorry about that. One thing you will do a lot in this game, everything poops. If you want to chuckle about that, you can, but that's just the way it is. Everything poops, and there's a reason for that, because you can use that to fertilize your plants when you're growing, and you'll grow your plants a whole lot faster than if they don't have fertilizer. I don't think they'll grow at all if there's no fertilizer, so you need to have fertilizer, and we'll get to that when we talk about farming. But for today, since we have some points and we can't seem to see anything we can tame passively, we're going to do two things. We're going to get 2 items that are important for knockout tames, which is the other way to tame things, and that is a slingshot. Go ahead and get to bed while we're here, and we're going to get a wooden club. And those are the 2 things we're going to learn right now. Let's go ahead and make those. So we are going to need to go to our crafting menu. To make a slingshot, we need fiber, hide, and wood. So go back over to our box here, open it up. Now we have some fiber. I'm gonna hit T and move it all over there. We've got some wood. I'm gonna hit T and move it all over there. And we already had some hide in our inventory. So we're gonna go to crafting, and we're gonna make us a slingshot. So double click and we'll make one. And we're also going to make us a club, because we have the resources to do that. And we'll double click and make one. And while we're at it, because we're going to go tangle with some things that probably want to bite back, we're going to move this hide over. I'm going to hit T and move it all over and see if I got enough to make a bed. I need some thatch to make a bed. I need 80 thatch, so I can move this thatch over, and I have enough for a bed. So I'm going to make one of those too. All right. Okay, and now to use a slingshot, you need rocks. Makes sense, right? So here's some stone. We're going to drag those over into our inventory as well. And now we are going to put away the stuff we don't need. So don't need any more wood, and I hit T. Don't need more thatch, I'll hit T and move it over. I don't need any more hides, so I'll move that over. I don't need any fiber, so I'm gonna move that over. I'm gonna keep my food on me. I'm gonna go ahead and place down my bed so I'll have a place to come back to. So let's do that. Let's see. We're gonna step back here off of this thing a little bit. Remember, we go to I, and we go to our bed, and we hit E, and there's the bed outline, and we'll just plop it right down there. Right, left click, we'll set it, and left click again puts it down. So now we have a place to respawn, and we're going to take our slingshot, and we're going to drag it down here to slot number 4. That's how we'll pull up our slingshot, and then we're going to take our bat, club, whatever you want to call it, and move it down to slot 5. Now, I've got this meat here. I'm not going to cook it just yet because I saw another dillo down there, and maybe he will be at a level we can bump on the head and tame. We'll see. One thing that I want to show you while I have the opportunity is there are going to be beacons or loot drops that will drop down, and these things will come down randomly across the arc. And if you're a high enough level, you can go up to them and see what they got in them and get some supplies. So if we hit F, we can get into the inventory, and you never know how long it's going to last. So I usually just hit the transfer all button and get it all, and it'll go away, but I'll have it. You gotta be careful, like I said before, around potentially getting over encumbered. So hitting 5 brings up the club. There we go. And let's go see what we got over here. So run down the beach here a little bit, and let's see if we can find that dillo. Hopefully he's not. There he is. I see him. All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a risky effort. I don't know what else is down this way. I don't see anything else. There's a triceratops. Oh no, and there's a... Oh, can't remember what he's called. Anyway, they steal your stuff, and he's going to take whatever I've got in my last slot if he attacks me, so I don't want to lose my beard. I'm going to just kind of stay away from him for a little bit and see if Mr. Dilophosaurus will entertain us a little bit today. There we go. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm probably dancing with the devil here. He's running away. What? Don't run away. Come back here. He's gonna spit at me. All right, now we got his attention. All right, come on. Oh, he's running. He's running. Where's he at? Now I want to be very careful not to hit that triceratops, because if I hit him, he's coming after me. Oh, I knocked him out. All right, so he's down. And this time, instead of just waiting and coming back to him later and hacking him up, what we're going to do is we're going to give him some food. That's the way you tame, knockout tame. So he's down. Walk up to him. You see access inventory. We're going to hit F instead of E. It's going to open up his inventory. Now what I'm going to do is he's a meat eater, so he wants meat. So I'm going to drag this raw meat over because that's his preferred food. And he's going to start eating it. Oh, and he already ate it, and now he's ours. So we're going to call him, let's call him Chuckles. And that's probably a good enough term because he's probably going to give us a couple laughs, and that'll be about all he lasts. But anyway, so there's Chuckles. He's ready to go. He's a Dilophosaur. He's level 5, and now he is the guy that's going to protect us until something bigger comes along and kills him. And me too. Okay, so anyway, there's Chuckles. He's following me. So anytime that you tame something, when they first come out of their unconscious state after it's tamed, they're going to come up as they're following you so that you can run away, basically, and they're going to come right behind you. Hey, shark, that's an interesting little pirouette you're doing. Okay, so he's going to come right around with me, and he'll hang out with me. He's going to stay fairly close, and you can adjust all that. So what you can do to set your tames up so that they follow you at the correct space and they do the right things, they don't create havoc when you don't want them to, is you can change the way they behave. So if we go over to our Dilophosaurus and we look at type E, now we're not going to just hit E, we're going to hold it down. And when we hold it down, we come up with a menu circle that gives us some options. Okay. The first one, access inventory, is just getting into where we gave him the meat, right? So he's got that meat in there. He's going to eat that meat over time as he gets hungry. And he's got a similar type of situation that we have. He's got all these different kind of indicators of how healthy he is and everything else like that. If we close that out and we hold down E again, we get that menu bar and we click on the behavior, just highlight it and click on it. Oh, hold your button down. All right, highlight and click on it. Now you've got another wheel. If you hold the E down the whole time now, you'll have another wheel that comes up that tells you a little bit about the behavior of this particular critter that we just tamed. You can disable following. Right now he's following me, or enable it from here. You can breed your dino, enable mating if you have a pair that you want to breed. And there's a whole wide world of setting up your breeding in the best traits for dinos if that's something that you want to go into. That's something that this tutorial really we're not going to be talking about right yet. Enable wandering just basically tells him to just go wander around, and he'll wander around, he'll go away, and he may come back, he may not, but he'll leave your area more than likely. With this particular dino, he has what's called a turret mode. If I click on this, he's going to stand still, and remember when he was spitting that stuff at me, anything that is an enemy that attacks him, he's going to spit stuff at or attacks me. So that's can be useful if you're trying to defend a particular thing or a point. You just plop him down and let him do that, and you'll get that kind of a turret type action. This is another one. I don't know why it's on here. I don't know why anybody would want it. All of your critters will look at you when you get close to them, and it's creepy sometimes the way they look at you, but it also can be really annoying because we've got a bunch of them in a small space and they're all turning their head to look at you. What'll happen is you'll get pinned and you won't be able to move. So anytime I get a tame, I always click on disable ally looking, and then he'll stop looking at me. So he's looking off into the wide open. All right, I have a hold E down again. I got to go back to my behavior screen, click on that while I'm holding E, and we'll talk about the other things. Change to ignore group whistles. We'll talk about whistles in a second. Enable only target conscious. You can click on this and it will only target things that are conscious. If it's unconscious, it won't mess with them. Now this can be useful when you're taming things. If you bring something into your area that's knocked out and you're trying to tame it there where it's safe, he won't attack it. If you bring it in there while it's still kicking, he's going to attack it based on the settings that he's at right now. Okay, so we'll go on around the wheel some more. Change follow distance. Now right now he's set to medium, and you saw about how far away he was when he was following me. If I click on this, I'm going to get some settings that says highest, which will be he'll hang back a ways, a pretty good ways, to lowest. Lowest is really useful if you're trying to move dinos around, get them in and out of a place, because this is what's going to happen. I hit low, see how close he's following me? He is right on top of me, and he'll stay really, really close. Again, you get everything following you that close, it's easy to get pinned down, so it's usually leave it on medium, it's probably good. We'll put it back to medium. All right, the other one, as we go to behavior, back again, range to target. So we talked about turret. Also, based on what your stance is, this can be very important depending on what you want to do. This changes where he targets. He'll either, similarly to follow, target things far away, or medium distance, or really close, or really, really close. He's set to medium. We leave him at medium. We're probably good. And then stance. Now, stance is probably the most important. If you click on this one, you'll see the different kind of behaviors or attitudes he's going to have. And we'll start over here with passive flee. That means if something comes around that is a danger to him, he's going to run away. Just take off running. The next setting is neutral, which is he's going to stay basically in a passive state. Nothing's going to happen unless something attacks him or me or some other tame that I have or another member of our happy band here. So neutral's a good thing to keep animals on because they won't just go off and attack things for no reason that are much bigger than you are and will probably kill you and the tame both. Attack your target means anything that I hit, it's going to attack, and it won't attack until I hit them, even if they hit me first. Passive, pretty close to passive flee, except for he doesn't move. So he'll stay in one place, and if something comes up that's even a smaller dino and just starts biting him, it's going to kill him because he'll just stay there. Passive is usually used for farming animals where you want to keep them in one place and you don't want them moving around, usually in a protected type environment so that they're not getting hurt by something else. And aggressive is the last one, and that just means he's going to take off after anything and everything that gets into that targeting range. And no matter how big or small it is, which can be very annoying because you're likely to lose your tame if you keep them on aggressive. I typically set my tames to neutral and medium follow and medium range, and then I've got them ready to go. Now, you see, if I look down at him one more time, Chuckles he started at level 5. Oh, Chuckles is not a he. Chuckles is a she. You can see the pink name. So Chuckles is a she, so she is at level 5. But there's also a little indicator there, just like on our screen. Uh-oh, it's getting ice cube time. I can see the ice cube popped up on the bottom of our screen. I'll tell you what we're going to do, so that we don't just drop dead over here on the beach, we're going to go back to our base where we have the fire, and we'll continue this little bit of information here. Come on around. Let's get our spear out, just in case something's around here. You know, we've been gone for a little ways. So let's go on around here. Head to the base, and let's get that fire going because we're starting to get the shivers. All right, so fire's going. Ice cube goes to a snowflake, and we're good to go. Okay. All right, so we're good now. We're going to go back and talk about Chuckles, and Chuckles has a level to go. If you hold down E, go to your access inventory, or you hit F, it'll access their inventory just like a box or anything else. You'll see the same kind of opportunities to increase levels as we have. Different animals will have different things that are on there, because if they are a water creature, they're not going to have an oxygen meter. They don't have that, so you don't have to worry about it. One of the things that I like to do, because as you level an animal up, at some point you're going to get to the point where they don't have any more levels that they can go. And just to keep track of where you started from, there's an easy way to do that in the animal's inventory, which you really don't use a whole lot unless it's, you know, a pack animal, which this guy's certainly not going to do because he doesn't have much weight. Just to record where they started, this icon right here that says new folder, if you click once on that, it's going to create a folder. And the way I do it, again, a lot of people do things different, but this is just what I do, just so I can keep track, is I'll start with the level, and Chuckles is going to start out at level 5. I haven't changed anything, so level 5 is where she started, and I'll hit accept. Now see, that's going to pop that right there, and that'll always be there. As long as Chuckles is alive, I'll always be able to see that she started out life as a level 5. Alright, and the next thing that's important for leveling a tame is health, so I'll click the folder again. Well, let's not do that. Let's figure out what health is. 130 is what her health is. Okay, it's good to watch that before you click the button, or else you can't see the screen because it pops right up over top of it. So 130 is her health at start, so we're going to click the folder. We're going to say health, or actually just H, 130, and hit accept. Now I know her health started at 130. We'll do it again. Stamina is another important thing that you may want to level or not, depending on the critter that you've got. So we're going to do stamina, and I did it again. Stamina is 110. So there's a couple of S things. So I'll put stam there. Now I know where Chuckles started her life at, and I will know, one, when I increase her levels, where I'm spending the most points. I can go back and look at where she started. And the other is, if I ever decide to breed Chuckles with another Dillo, their stats at the time that they're tamed is what the breeding stats are going to be. So another good reason to keep that up. And again, we'll get to that when we start talking about breeding, which will be in much later episodes. Okay, Chuckles has 2 levels, and for these Dillos, I really just want to level damage because that's their purpose. They're gonna keep their eyes out on us. They're gonna watch our back, and so I dump everything pretty much into damage. You can bounce back and forth between damage and health for these guys. Stamina is not really that important. If it's a flyer like a pterodon, you will want to do some stamina because if they run out of stamina, they kind of fall to the ground, and that's not good. So we have our first tame, and we've talked a little bit about where things go in your inventory, and we're not freezing to death, so that's good. We have our bed down, so we have a spawn point. If you remember, we talked last time about that, how important that can be. We can dump some of our stuff off that we don't need. So we don't need this rotten meat, and we really don't need these rocks. Well, actually, let's keep that because we may need it. That is a quick tutorial on how to tame with a knockout. You can use a club, thump them on the head, and as long as they don't kill you first, once you knock them out, then you can give them their preferred food, and that will tame them up, and that will take longer depending on how many levels the particular animal is. That is the way that you get your tames in this world. For now, it's gotten dark. We're going to go ahead and sign off, and we'll come back the next time, and we'll do some more hunting around, and we'll see if we can't get some bigger critters, and we can talk about how to tame things that are not going to be as easy to knock out. I mean, she was really low level. When we start talking about the trikes and bigger dinos, it makes it really difficult to do just by walking up and popping them. They've got a pretty big toper pool, and it's just not that easy to knock them out. For now, you have a good evening or morning or day or whatever it is that you're getting ready to have, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll hit that like button and let me know that this was something that you enjoyed, that you had fun watching it, and we'll see you on the next one.